What Bible story would qualify as a Florida man story? Florida man attempts to sacrifice son. Ceremony ends anticlimactically. I was just doing what God told me, went on Abraham as he sharpens his dagger. I didn't want to hurt my son, but when you have 9 of them and God asks you for one, I was like, well, if you say so. I could use the insurance anyway and one less mouth to feed. Later, when interviewing the son in question, he responded, I didn't really think much of it. He climbs that mountain every day and I thought we were playing a game. These times are kinda boring, so being tied down to a rock sounded fun and I had one too many to drink. It wasn't until he pulled out the dagger that I was like, hee nice prank, bro. Then he just stopped and started talking to the sky. Then he cut the ropes and went back. TLDR, burning bush guy was high as a kite and completely hallucinating/tripping. Florida man comes across a bush on fire and inhaled fumes. He proceeds to tell others about his vision. Honestly, I really don't hope to offend anyone with this comment. But I truly think the burning bush story was drugs or hallucinations from the plant that was burning. Completely innocent though. He heard voices from the burning bush, we know. It's possible the bush was ignited by lightning and it was maybe an early opium or a marijuana plant or some sort of plant that would have made him hallucinate. So essentially he came across it because he was cold. The fumes got him LOL. He then went and told everybody about what he heard because there wasn't anything to counter a lot of phenomena back then. Not talked about much, but in the book of Judges there's a story about a dude who's just the worst king. Long story short, his subjects run up to a high tower and basically tell him they aren't gonna listen to him anymore. Well, he takes his armies and tries to break in, and some woman drops a rock on his head. King turns to his soldier and says, quick, stab me so they won't be able to say a woman killed me, and homeboy straight up does it. Super underrated story, and I might have messed up some details, but it gets me every time and feels like a real Florida man move. Florida man brings fruit to a barbecue, surprised that everyone expected steaks, kills his brother for bringing steaks. Gen 4:3-8. Florida man and his wife say they're giving everything from property sale to local church, lie about it, fall down and die in the lobby. Acts 5:11. Florida man in upper management kills foreman then tries to settle worker dispute, confused when everyone disliked that. X 2:12-14. Florida man okay with wives having baby making contest, even more okay when their girlfriends get involved. Genesis 30 verses 1-22. Florida man beats his ass, nearly gets his ass killed, then gets his ass handed to him by his ass. Anything with Lot really? No officers, I ain't raped my daughters, they got shmee drunk so they could lay with me and have my seed. Tallahassee PD, this sicko actually thinks we would believe somehow his daughters were the perpetrators in this incestual mess. Honestly, even if they were, that's still a Florida moment that a bunch of ancient uneducated desert dwellers would have a situation like this go down. No offense Florida people, I understand y'all have sensational news because there are no laws that prevent non-convicted people from having their face across national news. The new governor of Florida announced a new round of state income taxes after assuming the office held by his father for decades. Experts had predicted the governor would scale back the taxes of Governor Solomon, after a number of tax increases for military and religious temples. After conferring with his close friends for several hours, Governor Rehoboam gave a press conference where he issued the following statement. My cock is bigger than my father's thigh. He scourged you with whips, I will scourge you with scorpions. Samuel 18:25-27 ESV. Then Saul said, Thus shall you say to David, the king desires no bride price except 100 foreskins of the Philistines, that he may be avenged of the king's enemies. Now Saul thought to make David fall by the hand of the Philistines. And when his servants told David these words, it pleased David well to be the king's son-in-law. Before the time had expired, David arose and went, along with his men, and killed 200 of the Philistines. And David brought their foreskins, which were given in full number to the king, that he might become the king's son-in-law. And Saul gave him his daughter Michal for a wife. Pretty much all of Judges. Florida man stabs fatter Florida man in the chest while on the toilet. Sword disappears within his fat. Loved ones think he's just taking a long time in the bathroom. 3:21-26. Florida man slaughters 600 Yankees with an ox goad to deliver Florida from its oppressors. Sentenced to no jail time. 3:31. Florida woman hammers tent peg through rude Florida man's temple. 4:21. Florida man cuts wife into 12 pieces and delivers her body parts to Floridian county councils to incite a Floridian civil war. Samuel. His oldest son dies, so he tells his next oldest son to go sleep with his brother's widow. When that son pulls out, he cuts off his head and promises the widow his next son will sleep with her when he comes of age. Samuel then forgets and happens to take a shine to a whore at a town he's visiting. It goes well and he pays her with a goat. A few months later, a pregnant lady turns up at his door with that goat. Turns out the whore was his dead son's widow, so they throw a party. Samuel goes on to picking Kings Saul and David to lead Israel because God liked him so much. That's all true.